Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Kweku, and as you might have noticed if you have been following this channel, yesterday I talked about the top 3 things that were announced during yesterday's build keynote and just in general throughout the day. I picked 3 things that I thought stood out the most, but today I'm going to talk about a few other things that got announced during yesterday's build. Now, one of the things that was announced that I never really talked about was that we do have a new Microsoft Edge browser, and I did a video just recently talking about how to install Chrome web apps on it. But what Microsoft did in fact also announce was that this new Edge browser that you can actually get right now if you're on Windows 10, or actually on Windows in general, this new Edge browser now has an IE mode built in. It's going to have an IE mode built in. Essentially, if you're a company that that pretty much needs IE and not any other browser, you need the legacy versions of IE to run certain things on the web, you will now be able to just toggle an IE mode on the new Edge browser, and you will be able to run those things as if it's the old IE, which is pretty amazing. It says here, Internet Explorer mode. It says instead of forcing businesses users to switch between 2 different web browsers so that they can access internal websites that still require IE, Microsoft Edge will feature a fully compatible Internet Explorer mode via a new tab. That way users can run legacy sites and modern applications side by side in one browser. So this comes from Thurrott.com is what I'm reading most of these articles from today. But it's a really nice feature if you're a business and you really need the legacy versions of IE. You'll be able to use the new Edge and do everything in one browser and just open up different tabs and then close them when you're done instead of having a ton of different processes open. Another thing that was talked about yesterday at Build, .Net, if you've heard of the .Net framework, .Net is going to be fused together. So here it says on Thurrott.com as well, it says here Microsoft announced the next .Net release after .Net Core 3, and it will be rebranded as .Net 5. So they're going to be combining .Net Core 3 with .Net Classic and together to just make one major framework that has all the APIs involved and everything like that. So they're basically trying to unify their separate entities and just put them together. It says here, .NET Core is essentially the open source and cross-platform version of Microsoft's proprietary .NET platform, often referred to as the .NET framework. So if you've ever played even Age of Empires, you'll know that Age of Empires requires the .NET framework in order to be installed in order to even run the program. But everything is going to be together, and so if you're a developer, yeah, it's good news for you. You'll be able to just have them all in one central infrastructure, which is really nice. It says runtime components, compliers, and languages all together in .NET 5. Yesterday, Microsoft also talked about Linux. As you know, they have a Linux team inside Microsoft, and they just said beginning summer, Windows subsystem for Linux will be pretty much part of Windows 10, which is amazing. It says future versions of Windows 10 will ship with a real subsystem Linux kernel that offers substantially better Windows subsystem for Linux performance. So if you're one of those people who love Linux, you'll be able to do a lot more with it on Windows 10 without having to go outside and dig it out. It says beginning with Insiders this summer, we will include an in-house custom-built Linux kernel to underpin the newest version of the Windows subsystem for Linux, or WSL, and that was from Jack Hammonds. It says this marks the first time the Linux kernel will be available as a component in Windows. This is an exciting day for all of us in the Linux team and Microsoft. We're all thrilled to be able to tell you a little bit about it. So yeah, it's a thing. As you already know, we already have Ubuntu in the store right now, and now Windows subsystem for Linux will be included in Windows 10 coming this summer to Insiders, and then that will be. So if you already are a Windows Insider, you probably already know some of this news. But if you aren't and you're interested in that kind of thing, yeah, you can seek it out. All you have to do is sign up for the Windows Insider program, wait a little bit, and you'll be good to go. So that was all the 3 developments also that we're talking about yesterday at Build. As of right now, it's about 1:02 p.m. as I'm recording this, and I think Google I/O is going on. So I heard Microsoft in their schedule, they purposely put a break in the schedule for people, for journalists to go and take a look at Google I/O's keynote. So stay tuned for more news coming up and developing at Build. And it will see some interesting things probably coming from Google I/O, even though this is a Microsoft primarily channel, but it's nice to know both sides. My name is Kweku. Take care.